Hello lads, welcome back. It's been a long time. So today in our studio we're gonna have the LEGO Bricktales review. In the good old days of high school I was given the nickname MacGyver for the ability to fix pens and create the mass destruction tools like the catapults, slang and crossbows, all drawing on a spare part and using the stationery. The creative flair has been part of me, and that's why I also have to think the afternoon spent like the company of LEGO construction, which I especially enjoyed emulating the builders of machines admire the robots TV show. Quite a few years later have passed, and unfortunately I no longer accumulate piles of brick and needs past, but I certainly did not remain indifferent to their charm, like when Andrea Basilio told us that his experience of embezzling with the consoles of those pages made it of LEGO of Atari 2006, like 2600, and the Immortal Niece, or while reading interesting specials like the history of LEGO games summarized by an expert of the object like Marco Esposito. With these personal premises you will understand the reasons that have basically pushed me into the arms of the LEGO Bricktales. The new project by Clockstone, the Austrian software house to which one of bird of the series like the bridge constructor, and after giving us a way to build bridge, keep the Walking Dead zombies at bay and mask the portal teleports. The aforementioned development studio seeks the ultimate conservation with the entirely LEGO based adventures. LEGO Bricktales nostalgically evokes Ole Christensen's original version of having fun building, considering that in recent years colored bricks have been the protagonist of adventure games linked to called the film series and comic book superheroes, without forgetting the variations of the theme that have touched genres such as brawler and strategic in turn, in short, with the exception of the poetic LEGO Builder journey. Lately we have spent more time destroying enemies and scenarios than putting up the buildings. Fortunately, Clockstone has managed to reverse the trend, starting from the original story conceived for the occasion, that one of little boy, like many who fascinated by the latest technological gimmick, made his the grandfather of teleportation portal that allows you to travel in the past and reach any part of the globe. Fixed the usual hitches that are used to teach players the ABC of construction through a series of tutorials. Nephew and robotic assistant will work to restore luster to the uplit amusement park of the Elder to be pulled out, polished using a repairing machine powered by the Crystal of Happiness. And where is the odd resource to be found? Traveling through the 5 scenarios that refer different ages and worlds, working hard to make happy medieval knights and mummies and Amberanti pirates, after doing chores that are divided between the environmental puzzles to solve to object to build. As easy to understood, the LEGO styles are all they are the same as always. A light humor, situations to word of pop cultures, and above all large explorable macro areas, which each element of character seems to have just come out of one of many building sets available for the purchase. The new iteration of the franchise takes back that cultural heritage unfairly placed in mothballs. First of all, by aiming thematic worlds of brick and buttons populated by the characters and animals with a mostly square shape, and geometrically orders is also the game formula that accompanies us in a handful of areas that follow a specific theme, inviting us to arm ourselves with the inventiveness, patience, and good dexterity to compose the host compositions based on every sharp and size. I speak of good dexterity because positioning is pieced precisely, and without arguing, the camera is not at easy, considering that in these types of operation, the mouse is rightly preferred to the controller. However, once inside the construction screen, a well-defined and sometimes quite narrow workspace is materialized, since the object to be assembled does not have to cross its boundaries in order to be considered suitable. In this way, the pieces made available are studied and usually in good quantity, variety, and not counted in the IKEA style. They are combined with each other, paying attention to make them fit together well, and far it goes to work and be said completed. As the first buildings themselves, it almost cases you to be required to create bridges of the past, reach elevated areas, but also resurrect the destroyed pieces of the furniture and pieces of the furniture, which means up to transport such as helicopters and four-wheel vehicles. Earlier I mentioned a little bit about the controls, and now let me go into the matter and explain you what the difficulty I inquired. Basically, the control scheme allows you to rotate the pieces, position them accurately above or below other bricks, as well as move the camera to find the right angle or move it closer or farther away. To this, it's add the particular possibility of cancelling redoing one's moves. The anchoring system of the bricks works without particular headaches, providing also quite accurate. As far as I'm concerned, the problem started on the occasion of the most elaborate constructions, since moving on replacing one of the most blocks becomes an often complicated affair between the pieces that just don't want to know how to fit together. Nothing for which is worth positioning yourself that much, but it's equally true that not simple management of the camera and not millimeter precision of the analogs could create some headaches, and I know something about it. But stacking, thanks to a list of the rules to be followed, they vary from the type of the construction. To make it simple, in the construction of the small helicopter, you will have to worry about leaving some space to insert the pilot, or not to insert the pilot, lol, and not to make him unbalanced by adding unnecessary elements like a bridge that will not have to break when the robot mannequin passes inside the simulation. There are also occasions in which it's required to use a minimum quantity of pieces or steps that you require to place certain bricks in a specific position. Structural stability is literally the basis of everything, as well as the most basic laws of physics, which are considerable importance in fact during the test phase of the objects. Weights will be added to verify their solidity. If the test proved to be unsuccessful, then it's up to make changes, carry out new simulations, and understand from time to time what went wrong. For what opinion is a pleasant initiative to use the grey matter, not to back down in the face of difficulties, and to accept a challenge that also concerns oneself. However, I must say that in some situations I have experienced moments of strong frustration, especially in the construction of the damned perk that did not want to remain in balance, which was followed by the construction of the fire escape, then continued collapse of a house of quartz and windy day. I still managed to deal with it despite having risked excommunication several times, but I found these peaks or difficulty rather out of pace. I do not exclude that in two aforementioned cases I have been the problem, but the fact remains that the absence of my help or suggestion could represent for some an obstacle in the communication of adventure. And to answer this question, we will have the summary about this game. So basically the Lego Bricktails were done by the Clockstone in characterizing the game world is simply commendable, because they finally crafted dioramas and joy to admire regardless of the number your identity card. So much more interesting, like a child exploring the fantasy scenarios, playing with colored bricks, the most despised shapes. So it's nice to see how Lego Bricktails represent a return to the originals of the video game counterpart of the most loved colored bricks in the world, protagonist of adventure designed for a teenage audience and not really suitable for the children, unlike the other games dedicated to Danish brand. Clockstone confirms that it knows how to pack excellent playable experience when it comes to building physics-based constructions, bridges and architectures, even if it had raised the bar and a little too much with some peak of difficulty that is still suited to the LEGO universe, universally recognized for being a friendly word of young and old. But LEGO Bricktails still managed to sprinkle sympathy and liveliness from every button that to beauty design scenarios, giving fans moments of hilarity and lightheartedness between the construction of a four-wheelchair car and monumental pyramid. So adventure based on sustainable bricks, unfortunately plagued by some structural problems. But anyway, I suggest you to try if you are a LEGO fan. Thank you for watching, don't forget to comment and subscribe. Peace.